Have you ever wondered, what was the first appearance of KK Slider in the series, which is the older of the Nooklings, or where Sid got his name/design inspiration? Well, we'll find out these facts and more in this mini episode of Animal Crossing Trivia, so enjoy! And remember, if this sort of content is your jam, be sure to like and subscribe. Let's jump in. Everyone that plays Animal Crossing will be well acquainted with KK Slider, the coolest musician dog around. Well, in the first generation games, he'd be the first character to interact with you, as he'd give a monologue to the player directly after exiting the title screen. Technically, that makes him the first character to interact with the player in the entire series, but I digress. For many Western gamers, you may have possibly seen KK before you even had the chance to play Animal Crossing, as he was included as a collectible trophy in Super Smash Bros. Melee, albeit under his Japanese name of Tota KK. This is because Melee was released in December 2001 in North America and May 2002 in Europe and Australia, beating the international release dates for Animal Crossing for all of these regions. He wasn't the only Animal Crossing character to be included as a trophy in Melee, however. He shared the privilege with Tom Nook and Mr. Rossetti. If memory serves, I actually got the Tom Nook trophy first. It's crazy to think that me inspecting the trophy reward and reading his flavour text was my first ever hands-on experience with the Animal Crossing series, despite it being in a different game series entirely that was released 2 years before Animal Crossing was even a thing in Europe. In Happy Home Designer, Digby will bring up his twin sister Isabel in conversation a few times. One of those times reveals just how intelligent his sister is, as she earned an engineering degree from 19 different universities. Like, how? And all at the same time? I don't understand. And to top it off, he mentions that she earned these degrees just for fun. Weird. There has been quite a few figurine-based merch over the series' lifetime, and here are some of the coolest ones, in my opinion anyway. Starting with Mori or Sakura set, or Let's Make a Forest in 2002. The Series 1 set seemed to be a multi-pack and would include 4 villager figures, 2 playable character figures, and 2 sets of special characters, each one coming with a couple of furniture items and the box of each individual set doubling as the villager home, which I absolutely love. You'll notice I said Series 1 earlier, and you'll be right to assume that they did in fact release later sets with more villagers, special characters, and furniture items to collect. Now, those that have watched my previous trivia videos, shameless self-plug here, but I have briefly touched on these before, as certain later sets were exclusively bundled with the e-reader cards for the villagers Meow and Bao, the cat and dog villagers based on the pet translation toys. There were also a few figures released for the anime movie, Gekkojoben Doubutsu no Mori in 2006, based on the villagers/special characters in said movie, but I couldn't find much info about these other than the fact they existed. During the New Leaf era, there were 2 Isabelle Nendoroid figures produced by the Good Smile company, one in a summer outfit and one in a winter outfit. And for those who are not acquainted with Nendoroid figures, they came with various interchangeable parts like faceplates with different expressions, different arm poses, and various accessories. In this case, the accessories were the particle effects showing off a selection of emotions, like the question mark showing off curiosity, the musical note showing off glee, and a couple of star effects showing off both flourish and pride. I myself are quite partial to the Nendoroid figures, and I wish they had more Animal Crossing based designs. In Animal Crossing Plaza, the free social app/spin-off for the Wii U, one of Pascal's dialogue lines was, "You know what would make a killer video game? An RPG where a kid fights aliens with a baseball bat. Man, that'd rock." I guess this hippie otter never heard of the SNES cult classic Earthbound, to which he is clearly referencing. And, whilst on the subject of Animal Crossing Plaza, they apparently had a couple of musical Easter eggs within the app as well. According to Nookipedia, if you zoomed in on KK Slider, you'd hear an extra guitar get mixed into the backing track, and similar results would happen if you zoomed in on Zipper, T-Bunny, or Pave, with extra instruments for the Bunny Day or Festivale events respectively being mixed into the background music. The fact that Animal Crossing Plaza was a downloadable app on the Wii U ties nicely with the next fact, and that there was a downloadable Animal Crossing themed clock for the Nintendo DS that you could download for 200 DSi points. You could set it to analog or digital, and it had scrolling background with a city folk aesthetic. You could add a town tune which would play at each hour, which was cute, and it had an alarm feature that you could set to play 3 different songs: the bug/fish catching theme, Mr. Rossetti's theme, or the song that plays at 1 PM, and overall, it was alright. It was functional. But but that didn't stop it from getting some negative reviews, with Nintendo Life saying it was mostly redundant as the DS already had a built-in clock and it seemed like a waste of 200 points, and IGN criticising the fact it didn't come bundled with the Animal Crossing calculator. And yes, you heard that right, there was also an Animal Crossing calculator. You've got to applaud Nintendo for trying to make math fun, and oh boy did it! If the answer to the sum was all the same digits, i.e. 111, Tom Nook and balloons would pop out with a ta-da sound effect. Similarly, if the answer only contained numbers in a sequence, i.e. 1, 2, 3, 4, then Tom Nook would once again pop out but with flowers around the screen. But the app also had a unit converter as well and was able to convert measurements of length, area, weight, speed, volume, temperature, of which would actually be pretty useful to me, time, and interestingly, age, converting human years into cat years or dog years, hamster, parakeet, rabbit, or even horse. What can I say? It was a simpler time, but at least Nintendo now solely focus on the games/consoles and not developing calculators or alarm clocks. Oh. Yeah. Wait, they want how much for it? Sid, the elephant, has a punk rock look to him, and it's definitely not a phase, it's who he is. His Japanese name is Punksu, with his Korean, Chinese and French name all being very similar, if not the same. His English name of Sid takes inspiration from Sid Vicious, the bassist from the Sex Pistols, who were a prominent band in the punk movement across the UK in the 70s. This name is mostly the same for many of the countries across Europe except for Spain, where his name is Ramon. Ramon? I'm not good with Spanish pronunciation, but it takes heavy inspiration from the American punk band, the Ramones. Speaking of having a name inspired by real people, Monique, Marlo and Kevin all share this trait as they are named after, inspired by or have a near resemblance to other real people. Monique, being the stylish queen she is, bears quite a resemblance to Marilyn Monroe, with Andy Warhol's pop art of the actress seemingly being huge inspiration for Monique's design. Marlo has the appearance of a crime boss, and that's fitting as his name is probably derived from Marlon Brando, the actor who portrayed the head of the mafia family, Don Vito Corleone, in the Godfather movie. Kevin takes name inspiration from the actor Kevin Bacon, and naturally the fact he's a pig villager seems to play into this as well, cause, you know, pigs, bacon, you get it. With so many villagers, I'm sure there are plenty more that have taken design or name inspirations from real people. So, which are your favourites? Now, something I didn't realise till pretty recently, in New Horizons on your birthday, your island besties will get you a piñata filled with birthday cupcakes. Well, the amount of cupcakes you receive depends on how quickly you press the A button. On the few times I've done this mini event in the past, I've consistently got 9 cupcakes, so as I generally have 10 villagers on an island, I've always had to choose a villager, or 2 if I wanted a cupcake for myself, to miss out on these frosted treats. But if I just mashed the Joy-Con slightly quicker, I could have got enough for all. After a little experimenting, the lowest amount I've received is 6 cupcakes, but honestly, I don't know if it can go any lower than this. If anyone out there has received 5 or less, be sure to let me know in the comments, cause I'm genuinely intrigued. Amiibo Festival was the first game in this series to be localised in Dutch and Russian. I can't imagine that would be the best first impression of Animal Crossing, not gonna lie, but at least they got a mainline game in New Horizons. However, my heart goes out to the cozy gamers in Portugal, as Amiibo Festival seems to be the only Animal Crossing game to be localised in Portuguese. Ouch. In the Animal Crossing movie, KK Slider makes an appearance during the Firework Festival and sings a rendition of KK Bossa, and whilst it's sung in Animalese, it had written lyrics in Japanese running along the bottom of the screen. The song playing over the end credits, Mori e Eko, is an arrangement of the Wild World theme, and is sung by the Japanese singer Teiko Onuki. The song actually features on one of her best of albums, released 3 years later. But anyways, the original soundtrack CD for the movie also came along with 5 bonus tracks from Wild World, with these being New Year's Party, the 2 AM, 1 PM and 8 PM hourly music, and stale cupcakes. It's pretty easy to find yourself confusing Timmy and Tommy for one another. After all, these Nooklings are pretty much identical to each other. Even Tom Nook has issues telling them apart in the Nook Tales webcomic by Joe Haniyo, when Nook gives them certificates of gratitude for the hard work they've done, only for the twins to swap their name certificates with each other behind their backs where Nook can't see. And before people jump on me for this, I obviously know that the webcomic is hardly Animal Crossing canon. Well, there have been plenty of times Nintendo couldn't get their story straight with these two either, but very specifically about whom is the older of the pair, with the BO3 e-reader card for Timmy and Tommy, and the trophy in Super Smash Bros. Brawl stating that Tommy is the older, whilst dialogue in Animal Crossing Plaza, the twins' RV description from New Leaf Welcome Amiibo, and the description on the Play Nintendo website all seem to be in favour that it is actually Timmy who is the oldest. Now cast your mind all the way back to 2018. We were treated to the trailer with Tom Nook congratulating Isabelle on being included in Smash, before the big reveal that we were getting a mainline Animal Crossing game on the Switch in 2019. Everyone was hyped, and of course, it got delayed until a year later, being released on 20th of March 2020. Well, it wasn't the only gaming franchise to release after being pushed back, as Doom Eternal also got delayed from a 2019 release and pushed back to the very same day, and plenty of fans noticed. Did it result in a battle of words? The need to pit one gaming community against each other for a feeling of supremacy? If anything, it seemed like the opposite. Plenty of fans came together to make Doom/Animal Crossing fan art and videos, usually featuring Doom Guy and Isabelle together, and kinda turning it into a meme. I'm pretty sure I even saw a mod which added Isabelle as a companion to one of the original Doom games. But I love just how this naturally happens sometimes, like how Barbenheimer became a thing in 2023. Well, Doom's official Twitter account even got in on the act, as when Nintendo announced there would be an Animal Crossing Direct in February 2020, Doom replied to Nintendo of America's tweet by asking, "Will Isabelle be there?" 1 year later, Nintendo even added a Doomslayer helmet and armor costume for the Mii Gunner in Super Smash Bros. Ultimate, so you can have Isabelle and Doom Guy fighting together to your heart's content. A story for the ages. So thank you so much for watching, guys. Be sure to check out more of my Animal Crossing trivia videos if you haven't checked them out already, and I hope to see you in the next one. Have a good one.